Hello, everyone. Welcome to another one of our meetings. Today we are discussing episode 6 of season 4 that is called Black Museum. This is like very, you probably, you watched the episode. We all know, we all agree that this is a unique episode. Pretty different to all the others. It's like a summary or maybe a reflection. I don't know. It's not a reflection. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a summary. I would like to talk to you about that. What kind of episode is this? And first of all, I would like to start by knowing if you liked the episode, if it made you feel anything in particular, or if there are any general ideas that you would like to discuss before we enter the deeper discussion. So let's start with our real host today, Fernando. What about you? How do you feel with the episode?
I'm the first.
Yes, you're the first. You're not new
Oh,
anymore, so you're the first.
uh, well, really, I feel that the episode is like a session, like a end of session. Like
Yeah.
I don't know because too much histories, too much little histories, and I think that is very interesting. This change of view of the the protagonist is not the good person, or I don't know if
Yeah.
it's like vendetta. Um,
You mean the
I feel
protagonist would be the girl or the boy or both?
well,
I mean the men or both.
really it's complicated because I don't know if the protagonist or antagonist. I don't know.
Yeah, they're kind of like the girl who we think is the protagonist is also the antagonist at the same time. Yes. So yeah, I agree. The main characters, let's call them.
Well, really, I think in the first time that the man is the bad guy, and in any time the man, I don't know, could the woman,
Yeah.
or I don't know,
I thought he was
some.
going to transform into something because he was like getting hot. There was something with the water. I was like, what is going to happen? Is he going to become a machine, a
And
robot?
yeah, I really in the neuro problems or the conscience, I don't
Yeah.
know, or the it's difficult to explain, but the evolution of the conscience in the episode is so interesting. I am neuroscientist. For me,
Ah, yeah, yeah.
I like
Welcome to our discussion. Great. Yeah.
it's so complicated, but interesting in the same case when you see the evolution of the, I don't know, one simple emotion, and I don't know, make conscience. Yeah,
Yes.
it's funny.
So, Fernando, let me ask you a question. Sorry. Were you able to watch the whole series before the previous episodes, before joining our group?
I think someone, but I don't know.
No, not all of them.
No, not a lot.
Because this episode is made actually for people who watch all of the episode because you can find here like many Easter eggs and little things. And
Yeah,
since you are a neuroscientist, the show, one of the main ideas of the show is has to do with neuroscience and has to do with the possibility of replicating consciousness. If it is
yeah,
possible to, I don't know, put someone in an egg or replicate someone that's gone, or if you can live after death. So yeah.
yeah. But it's interesting because the man explained that there is the Santo Grial
Yes.
of the neuroscience, move the consent of another, I don't know, element or body.
Yeah,
And
they actually did in some episodes.
yeah, and in my personal case, in my opinion, it's really it's illusion, or like a, uh, good dreams to think that you can move a conscience because the brain is so complex.
Yeah.
But really, the back to the Black Mirror, it's so interesting how the people can see the, I don't know, the problems, or how to you can extend the brain, and you can put only, I don't know, one uh, things, or the other.
Device, gadgets.
one gadget like a neuro links of the
Yeah.
mask, and it's interesting, really. But I think that you need to put in this place because you have the needle here. I don't know.
Ah, we're gonna let Charlie Parker know that. He always put it here.
Or
Careful.
maybe here. You can
Ah,
put it
yeah.
here.
There was one episode where they put it in the back when you go into
Yeah.
the play, chat up and play. What was the episode where they play a video game and you enter reality with something here. So yeah, in that case, it made sense. So yeah, we actually did previously. I wish none of you. I think maybe Vito met someone like I'm gonna mention now. His name is Hernan, and he used to be part of this group. He's now in the United States. So hello to Hernan, wherever you are. So this guy, we always talked about. I thought about him when I watched this episode because in previous seasons we were talking about, for example, San Junipero. That episode, I don't know if you have watched this, if you were not here in our group. San Junipero is a very popular episode where it was like the happy episode, happy ending. You have love story. So it's like the popular episode, but we agreed, and everybody was here like, ah, yeah, it was a love story. I'm happy I finally watched a happy episode in Black Mirror. Some of us were like, maybe it's not that happy. This is Black Mirror, shouldn't be happy. And we agreed that these people were evil, mean, very the worst people in the world who were trying to sell the illusion of replicating consciousness, and how much we want to transcend maybe, or we want to somehow solve the problem of the mysteries of what makes you you and what makes me me with technology, which is something that is going to be in our life forever because it's a philosophical question that when the day we solve that question, we probably will extinguish ourselves and explode. So yeah, anyways, so we agreed that this company was bad, and I think this episode was a touchable, concrete proof that this company, whatever name it is, it's really bad because it's really difficult to replicate consciousness or to copy someone. So we're going to talk about that later. Keep your thoughts and ideas there. Let's go with someone that's a more usual attender. Camilo, what about you? How did you feel with the episode?
I like it. I like it
I like it too.
because a very tiny thing maybe, but it was very realistic. It was at the beginning when this guy was presenting the idea to the doctor, and he says, "Okay, we were looking for something, but we failed and we discovered another thing." And for me, and maybe the others agree with me here, science is that, or
Much.
most science is about finding things that you were looking for. And for me, it was kind of very realistic, and I like it from the beginning because of that. And in general terms, I agree with you when you say that it's maybe a compilation of a lot of things that have happened in the entire season and the entire
Show.
series, maybe
Yeah.
in the show, maybe. And I like the idea to think that the company here is not that bad, maybe. And in terms of it's something that is happening now, and of course it has this side of this commercial side where you have certain issues related with the with earning money and things like that. But I insist, most science is have been made about that, about or progress in science is about sacrificing, normally sacrificing other people, but we can't.
For a greater purpose.
I don't know if the purpose is greater, but if you think about most of the great discoveries in science are because some people were victim of
Yeah.
their progress. If you think the classical example of the Nazis, but if we think about these recent events of the discovery of the Indian boys that were tortured in Canada, you know, and were experimented with in Canada. You have
What?
that,
Kind
and
of lost here. What?
uh,
Sorry, I've been working a
didn't
lot.
you see the news on the burning of churches in Canada
Yeah.
recently?
Yes.
Like
What? Because
it,
yeah.
it was because they
I'm
discovered
connected now.
that
Yeah, I got it.
the
The body
church
discoveries of
was,
the graveyard. Yeah.
yes, and the church was experiment with these kids,
Mhm.
and those experiments were about hunger and how hunger affects people,
The
you
human
know.
body. Yeah.
And yeah, and if you think a lot of those, maybe not that specific case, but these kind of experiments have results that have been applied to us and the, I don't know, the public policy and the policy all over the world. And
Yeah.
for me, it's like that. I don't think the scientist or uh, the company, maybe they try to portray this guy as a commercial one, maybe as a visitador médico. How do you say that?
Yeah, he was like,
He's
why would
like
you ask someone that? Who knows that?
it's like,
Yeah. No, I like medical visitor.
yes, something like that, you
Yeah.
know. But they try to portray him like that. But if you think of as a science is a science as a process that have been torturing people, maybe going beyond the line with a
Yes.
lot of people, you don't have something that is far beyond what we know as science today, and maybe we are aware of it because I don't know, or from like 2 years or 10 years or 20 years from now. But if we think about the experiments that were made with people not long ago, we are thinking about something that is
Yeah.
happening now and it's very recent, you know. So I wouldn't say that the company here is as bad as they want to present us, because maybe science is about that, you know. It's about having some of these kind of guinea pigs, and it
Yeah.
needs some guinea pigs for doing it. So you have and I finish here, for example, the vaccine, you needed some people that were
Test like guinea
willing
pigs
that willingly went
and
to
try.
experience in these trials, you know.
And unwilling
So
animals too.
so of course, and the rats, we haven't thought
Yes.
about the rats.
They're not willing. They're not willing, unwilling participants.
But there's
But yeah, but we have
a
to.
monument. There's a monument to the rats, I think in
Yeah, in
Russia.
science.
There's it's a monument to the all the rats that has been exterminated to the science, you know.
Probably
So,
their baby
but
rats are very proud. Their mom rats,
yeah,
mommy
yeah,
rats are very proud.
yeah.
That's
I
my
don't know,
point.
but what I'm trying to say is
No,
that
I get it.
the line is not that clear in this field. You know, the
I
line is
just
not that.
I agree. Of course, I agree with you on the fact that science, like there has to be a sacrifice in every advancement or progress that we make as societies, humanity. I agree. I think even in my own even in little science, like when you teach in the small pieces of like having a student at the beginning, you make a lot of mistakes in order to get to know that person and apply the right strategies to make it successful. But this company in particular, I think the problem here is that they're lying because, I mean, probably not the scientists working behind like the people in the lab, but for example, I think, and this is like we're moving kind of forward, but just like a spoiler for future discussion. When he talks about the teddy bear, and no, sorry, it was the final guy at the end, the murderer who was being tortured forever. This guy, they all they wanted was to have his virtual identity. So he signed the papers, and he was offered being sent to San Junipero, but he was never sent there because our theory is that there is no San Junipero. That they are not even working with the actual solutions they say they're creating, but they're just collecting data. So when at the end of San Junipero, when we had a discussion here, it was like, they never, San Junipero is just an algorithm playing with characters, but they're gone, and there is no San Junipero, there is no life after death. So I think actually the fact that they mentioned San Junipero, and at the same time they were showing us how this guy sold his identity and then was tortured forever, is that there is no San Junipero, there is no solution, there is no actual like greater purpose from the perspective of the company, but collecting data. I think. I don't know.
That's the one about a nursing home, right?
Sorry?
Is that episode? It's the episode about a nursing home, about these people that went
Yes,
to
yes,
this
in the
town
nursing home
from
with
an yeah,
the old
yeah,
ladies and the gay
yeah,
couple.
I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I saw it.
It's like the happy episode, but if you look closer, because at the end, the very end of that episode, they only show you robots moving X, and like they show you that there is nothing, and it looks like very fake. And you can go back to that video if you want to check that discussion. It was really interesting. But yeah, let's talk with the rest. Gus, what about you? I would like to hear your opinions on the episode.
So I have several opinions in this episode. I studied cinematography, so when I see this episode, the most that I analyze or it remains in me is the construction of the script and the temporal lines. It seems very interesting how the episode is constructed. We have a narrator. In this case, is this, I don't know, this very unpleasant dude.
Yeah,
It's not a doctor, it's the neuroscientist. All the little stories that we see are narrated through the voice of this dude that, and I don't know, for me it's very unpleasant to hear.
yes. And he has an unpleasant look. Like you see him like, I don't know, fat and kind of like posh. I don't know.
Yes, but I really like it how the episode was constructed and how the tension was escalating throughout the episode. It was,
Guys, sorry, Gus and guys.
yes.
And there is someone coming to the meeting, Jorge, and he's downstairs for some strange reason. He wants to connect in my house. Would you just give me 1 second, Gus? You can keep talking to the guys for me to open the door for someone to join virtually to our meeting. Makes no sense. Sorry. Be right back. Gus, just keep on talking with the guys. I'll be right back. Like your reality is real.
Yes. So we have this narrator, the protagonist, which is this British girl, or apparently British girl. And then we have these three little stories. For me, the first one is a little bit unconnected with the rest, because the last two, they were very connected. The story with the doctor, it was different, but I think it serves a purpose of settle the ground for which is next. That is this story with the couple, with Carrie, which is this girl, which is transferring to the conscious of the other guy. And for me, that was the most interesting part of the episode, or at least the one which makes me feel more things, to think like, at least for me, it seems very, it seems like a very creepy feeling, know that you forever are going to see the world through the eyes of someone else. Yes. That's really makes me feel
creepy. Or being together with your boyfriend all the time for the rest of your life.
Yes, yes.
God.
Yes, it's like very uncomfortable, and that's, for me, was the most disturbing part of the episode. Like, think how it must be that girl and see all that shit happening, and being able to do anything, especially when they transfer her conscious into an object. That so was
cruel. So cruel.
Very, absolutely cruel.
Yes. Felt the same.
Yes.
Yeah, I was like, this is the worst thing we can do to someone. It's like annulating and like forgetting about the person, taking all the power off that person, and you leave that person there, like suffer forever. There's nothing you can do.
The other part of the episode which makes me think a lot was like to think in this girl, which is in this museum with this neuroscientist, and I was thinking like, why is she still there, hearing this guy, which is evidently some creepy, I don't know, he will probably kill her in any minute.
Yes.
I was thinking like, why is she still there? And this guy with all the heat, all sweetie, all creepy, and she remains there. And I was like,
What do you want? What do you want?
One, and then yes, the plot is that she wants this revenge and all the ending of the episode, and that makes sense. This thing that was bothering me about why she's not running makes complete sense when you know the whole plot of the story.
But at the same time, the fact that she's taking revenge, I think is like, there's like, just like another Black Mirror episode, when you think that the world could be a better place, you realize that we are shitty person, and all of us, like, she does the same to him that he did to her dad. So all of the moral here goes away, eternal torture.
And I wanted to add a very thing that is, I feel relieved when the guy could pause the girl. You know, it was like, oh, thank you. He can pause the girl from talking all the time. You know, it was like very
empathy,
weird.
Maybe there's like male empathy. How many times have I wanted my girl? Like, I think all my boyfriends think that I'm a very talkative person. That's why.
No, I think a girl would think the same.
Yeah,
having your boyfriend in your
of
head
course,
is
of
not
course. Having someone in my mind is enough. Like, having my own mind inside is enough. So yeah. No, yeah, I think that was very cruel. That story was horrible. In that episode is they're showing us technology that we see later in another episode. I don't remember the name of the episode, but it was with the little girl. I don't remember if you. Sorry, the late guys. What are you discussing? We're just sharing. Jorge, we don't see you, just in case. But we are sharing the reflections, general reflections and opinions. Maybe he's not listening. Yeah, whatever. So I don't know if you guys remember, but probably Vito, you remember that episode with the little girl where the mom was able to see everything through the eyes of the girl. Yeah, that was for me, that was one of the most shocking episodes, because I'm not a neuroscientist, but I'm a teacher, and I'm a very empathic person, so I care about children, especially in the development from 0 to 6. So I was freaking out the whole time when the mom was like avoiding her to do anything, or trying to stop her from discovering the world, or taking away her privacy and all the mental development of the children. So Archangel, yes, that was the end. That was the episode. So back then I thought that was very cruel, to be able to see from your kids' eyes and take away the experience, whatever experience they want to have. So seeing this, like in the previous technology, when you are locked inside your boyfriend, for me, it was like, oh my God, this is worse. When I thought Archangel was already frustrating and traumatizing, this was worst. So yeah, I think that's the worst story.
There's a thing that I still wondering about, that is, they never show us the girl inside this teddy bear anymore. In a certain point, she
but we heard the bear when she left the museum.
At the end,
and I wonder,
like, press the button.
How was she feeling? Like, I cannot imagine.
She had only 2 options. You were happy or sad, and she pushed the happy button. So we see she was kind of happy, but of course, how can you be happy when you're locked inside a teddy bear for you've been for how many years?
Like, I don't know, pulling his hair off and
like I'm gonna kill myself. The bear, kill myself, destroy me. So yeah, we will never know how she feels. So thank you guys for your especially thank you for your great contribution from the filmmaker perspective. I like filmmaking too. I'm kind of fan of everything you do, but I'm anything you guys do. But I like everything, all of your professions. Vito, I like your profession too. So Vito, what are your thoughts, reflection, opinions on the episode?
I really like this episode. It's one of my favorites. It's a long one, but it keeps you
Was it
entertained.
long?
Yeah, more than.
I feel it was like very short, and like because it was a quick.
No, it's longer than an hour, but it doesn't feel like.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's an episode. I really like each individual story, especially the first one is the one I found more entertaining. It's a little bit unrelated to the rest of the story, but it was the funniest for me. The doctor.
Funniest?
The role of,
You found it
Yeah.
funny? Like that's really funny when they kill the men on the streets.
Actually, it was not fun, but it was the one that made me feel more. It was somehow disgusting, but especially the part where the guy like start this frenzy and start mutilating himself. That part was that made me feel a little bit bad.
Maybe because we can feel a little bit more empathy with that character, because like maybe I'm not saying that you guys are addicted to inflicting pain to others, but it's something that I think is more maybe probable than being able to put someone in a bear. Maybe it has to do with that, because I was talking to actually my friend, her sister, and she was saying the same thing to me, like that's the story she will always remember because it was blah 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 and the pain and all that. So I've heard a lot of people commenting that, and maybe it was the same for the rest of you. Was the first story something that like touched you more than the others? No, maybe not. Maybe my statistics are not that right. Vito, continue. Sorry.
Well, it's fun story, but entertaining, better say. But it's not that related to the rest of the story. But I feel like as usual, the first story at least is pretty close to what could happen like right now.
Any moment.
The other ones are a little bit more far ahead or not close to happen for what I feel. But the first one is like something that could really happen like tomorrow, and someone could share the have that implant. It's more likely to happen, in my opinion. So it makes me feel like we are one slight mistake from going to like
something like that. And when you think about that, given the tendency of people to become addicted to pain or to inflict pain, I see that's very likely to happen with that. You have doctors, like you have this, we talked about this once, by proxy, what's this syndrome? Munchausen by proxy? Munchausen? Something like that. Does that syndrome? That's very common among, that's not very common, but it has happened among some doctors or nurses that keep their patients ill. Sometimes it happens with mother and children, or if husband and wife, like misery. You keep your patient ill.
Yeah, I was.
Like misery. So that way, that person needs you forever, and you kind of become addicted to that feeling. So if you mix that and addiction to pain, and you give technology, you give someone that's the same power with technology, I don't see anything good coming.
Yeah, and maybe my opinion is really biased, but why I feel like all the doctors are weird or have some strange thing that they like.
Because they are.
Sorry?
I was saying that I don't know if it's just me and I had bad experiences, but I feel like many doctors have some really weird stuff going on, like in their minds. It's just a feeling.
Maybe it's because we kind of fear them, but I also feel that way. I have no proof but no doubts. It's like I don't know why, but I feel that way. Yes. I wanted to ask Fernando. Vito was saying that the first story is like very, and I think I agree with him. That is like we are just one step away from having that kind of technology where you can feel neuro something in your. What's the name? I forgot all the words today. I know all these words. Those things that you put in the
Electro.
What?
Electrodes.
Yeah, those like ventosas, I don't know what's the name. Those things, yeah. So is it possible to transmit information from the pain of one brains to a computer and then transmit it to another device?
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
not to
possible
feel it, but to collect.
Yeah, but this is the problem. It's possible to transfer information, but what is this information? This is the problem. Because the electrode can, I don't know, measurement something, but the people, we don't know what we measure. We receive only
Information.
or electric input, but we
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I don't know if the cortex, or I don't know if the muscular, no, it's muscular in Spanish. In English, I don't know.
Brain.
Whatever.
Brain.
The brain. Where is the
what area of the
stimulus?
brain? Where area of the brain is stimulated? You don't see that?
No.
Oh, because I've seen that they highlight the area of the brain that activates in different tasks.
We know we can measure only the external area.
Yeah. The result.
We don't know
not
inside
the process. Yeah.
The result of
the human brain is like
the,
it's going to be the mystery. It's like the universe.
Yeah, you make a simple calculus in the universe. I'm sorry, let me close.
Don't worry, it's okay.
In the universe, we have less stars in the world that connection in our brain.
I love it.
In the same way, we can see that only one person is it's that es tan compleja como es.
It's as complex as blah 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 as. I'm teaching you structures, advanced structure, grammar structures. As complex as.
As complex as a single person, as complex as that the universe.
Yes. There are many philosophical questionings regarding that, like uniqueness and diversity and infinite possibilities of people, as there are infinite possibilities of combinations of whatever.
In this way, I think that I am disagree with Gus. The first history, the little history, show us very, I don't know, simple electrode. I don't know how to hit that electrode. Very similar that they used to read. They use now. That they use
yeah. Like the hat they put on is similar.
The hat is similar.
Hairdressers use a similar one too. Hairdressers, peluqueros. I don't know if you've seen it. It's kind of very similar. Yeah. Neuroscience, hairdressers, they both work with the head.
That in this way, in the three little history, we can show the evolution of the, I don't know, device of conscience, or I don't know.
I think it's the evolution of data collection. How much, like at the beginning, you have like physical things that collect the data, and then you have just a device, and then it's just a projection in a virtual reality.
Yeah, but in the same way, it's tan complex. It's so complex.
It's so complex. Yeah.
I don't know, to measure the electrode or really the cortex, or I don't know, the brain, that is impossible to know what we measure or what we see in the calculus or in the
actually translate the data or decode the data.
We don't have possibility to decode this data.
Yeah, so that's probably that's why this is a show. This is not reality, because they actually decode the data. That's the thing, that the only thing maybe that they have done and printing bodies in 3D, but I think that's likely to happen, not that far. But decoding the brain data, I don't see it coming any soon. Okay, thank you, Fernando. Let's talk with Jorge here, but he's with his camera. He was telling me that he has problem with the camera, but he is with us. So, mysterious Jorge, can you hear us? Kairi, Fata, are you there? Maybe not. Okay, he says that he was just.
Hello.
Ah, there you are. There you are. Okay, we hear you. Hello.
Maybe I can try to turn on the camera, but I don't recommend because I have a lot of problems to connect to this meeting.
Don't worry, sweetie. We can just listen to you. So we were sharing, we are still in the first part of our discussion, sharing our thoughts and ideas on the episode. So what are your thoughts and ideas on the episode? You kind of missed very, very important and interesting contributions, but we'd like to hear yours.
Okay, just want to check if you really can hear me now.
Hello, yes, we can all hear you for sure, no problem.
Okay, hello to everyone. Sorry I'm late. Just arriving to get Wi-Fi. And hello especially to Vicente, because I watched this episode the very first time in your house.
Both of you remembered the experience. That was so sweet. Yeah, so?
Well, I think this was like a compendium episode. Yes. Because it was it has a characteristic of the Black Mirror series at itself. So I was I was seeing entire Black Mirror on this episode, and it was very shock to me. And not in the first factor, because I was a very easy to impress people. So it was I scared about the first history. I think the first history of this episode is the most less Black Mirror episode, because shows the sensitive ways besides the capacity of being interpreted by a single person. If you know what I mean.
No, I don't. Can you like, I don't know, re-express that idea?
This episode has 3.
Yeah, the first. Sorry, we got you. What about the first one?
And this episode shows us the device to feeling the
pain,
the emotions, the pain of the other people, and it was a very particular connection with the whole series itself, I think. So if we can achieve the political and the philosophical connection with this particular way of feeling, we can show us or ethical and moral thoughts, like any other episode.
Yes.
Or so if we see that if the main is the daughter of the last protagonist of this episode, we can make our own judge to a whole political judicial I don't know system. We can show us how we are different are. So you can think that it's a legitimate adjustment, and that is the main word that I want to
discuss.
Yes. justamente están haciendo un debate. Sorry.
Debate.
Because
Both are cognitive.
I remember a previous session,
Yeah.
and maybe shut up and dance.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yes, I don't remember so much, but I remember the faces of the people in the meeting. So maybe it's so controversial. Yes, controversial. Yeah. And we are personal with our family education. We have different moral and ethical positions. So it's a logical sentence. Well, in this episode, the main episode, me la voy a jugar con esta. Articular.
Yeah, articulates.
Thanks, teacher. Yeah, the main episode articulate so many different scenarios to put our judgment.
Yes.
Yes.
But that's what they always do in every episode. Question our morals and our values, especially in Shut Up and Dance. We actually had a big discussion on that. So yeah, what part? So you said that I think that if I got your point, that you were saying that at the end of the episode, the main feeling is the moral or values that we can from the last story, from the protagonist, from the girl who wanted the revenge.
I want to puntualize.
Highlight.
Yeah. Well, the highlight of this, and I want so I want to express myself, is the judgment point, the judgment ethical moral point of we have in rising in ourselves, in our family. Specific the revenge point.
Yeah.
Revenge or payback.
Yeah.
Revenge.
What do you think about revenge? Because we kind of touched that, but we didn't discuss it.
Yes. But well, I think we have different thoughts about revenge, and specifically in a system,
yeah,
a social system.
This is we're gonna crash here.
We have institutions, and I know you like this word, institutions who needs to care about of this
justice.
Justice. But we know that it's not work very well.
Yeah.
Well, in this episode, we have a lot of social adjustment. Social adjustment. It's very slow.
Yep.
And we have different comments. For example, the main conception of this episode, it's about a daughter of a bad adjustment, un padre mal enjuiciado,
But we don't know, but I think that you're taking, like, they kind of give us the doubt of the crime, but we don't know if he's guilty or innocent.
Because
they just let us know that there is not enough, like maybe it was something.
Okay, but in this episode, he looks like very innocent man.
Why? But that's why they think. He said that he looked
guilty.
Because
he's black.
Yeah, that's basically because he's black and he's
guilty in the Black Mirror system.
yeah. I get it. But actually, what you just said, that he looked innocent, is the same thing. The man, the seller, the neuroscience says he looked very guilty. Who cares if it was guilty or not? He looked guilty. So just because we base on the stereotype that he's a black person that in the shoot, and then we think that the system normally punish those who are not guilty instead of the guilty ones, because I know that you think that the actual murder was a blonde, rich, fascist. I know that you think that he was the actual murder. But we cannot rely on bias. I think that's one of the questions too. Like, how much can our morals and values stop, like affect us when it comes to making judgments? How can we be objective? And that maybe is a question for justice in general. How can we blame the judge?
It's impossible to be objective.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. There are some people who are trying to be objective judged. They're trying.
I want to turn off the camera only because of my social expression right now, because it's a potential. Maybe I can try because I don't like, because the Wi-Fi is so poor. Bro.
Yeah.
Just to finish my idea of revenge.
Yeah.
We can.
Do you agree with her revenge? Do you think that it was a fair revenge?
Well, I don't believe in karma. I don't such a spiritualistic boy.
Yeah.
But I think if we have the chance to make another pay for his crimes, we can make it real.
Yeah, but the problem or the question is, what kind of payment? Is it like fair to torture someone for eternity?
Exactly. The punishment never be consensus.
There has to be consensus on the punishment?
No.
Consensus?
It's not a democratic idea. It's equality. I really want to.
Yeah, but it's not democratic. Like, not everyone will agree with punishment. Like, we cannot agree like 100% agreement on whatever punishment. There will always be people who think it's
exactly. And Alicia, I remember the faces of the people when I thought of the Shut Up and Dance episode. I say that he deserves that punishment.
Yeah.
And in this episode, I want to comparar.
Yeah, compare.
What happens to the Rollo Haynes?
The who?
And the owner of the museum.
Yeah. The guy, the disgusting guy.
Rollo Haynes owns the museum and makes an exposition and.
Yeah.
And so I will remember the protagonist gives him water with toxic.
With poison or something. Yeah, poison, with toxic, whatever.
Well, we remember he had problems to breathe.
Yeah.
And the heat of the environment. No. And finally he had his ajusticiamiento, it exists, no?
No, adjustment es ajustamiento, pero de ajustar, like setting. Yeah, but whatever. Express it in simple words. Use simple words.
Well, it was a very bad person. He become.
So he deserved it, basically. And let's keep it there because I would like to hear the rest opinions on this. So do you think he deserved it?
He blackmailed this guy to be eternal electric chair.
Do you think he deserved it?
It's just a fuck it up. How can you?
I know, especially to a black guy.
In the final moment, it's less the adjustment he deserves in my concern.
So do you agree? Basically, do you agree with the punishment?
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to hear. That's all I wanted to hear. Thank you, sweetie. The rest of you, everyone. Gus, do you agree with the punishment that the Batman? He's saying.
Kind of, but not completely. I mean, I'm more of the kind of person which will like him to see behind the bars in a prison more than being electrocuted for life, because moral boundaries are more centered to a pacific way of living. But in terms of the script as the episode, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like
it
it closed
serves
the circle.
yeah, it's like complete itself like a good story that he make a lot of bad things towards the episode.
Yeah.
And the thing I am more, I don't know, the moral boundaries in this entire society, which is the society of Black Mirror, are being constantly pushing forward,
Yeah.
being accepted by the society in general. I mean, the political allows this kind of situation. I mean, when he stole the conscience of the guy in prison, it was a legal.
Yeah, it was a legal procedure.
I mean, the culture, the society allows that,
Yeah.
and that's quite scary if we think that if eventually it could happen to us, a situation like this in 100 years more, 15 years more. So I don't know. The current state
of the brain.
Technology, it's being developed in a very fast way. The fields of neuroscience and AI, artificial intelligence, and all that stuff, it's growing up very fast. We can. I will not be surprised if in 20 years it is possible for that to happen. I mean, to extract thoughts, for example.
Yeah, I think that we were saying that from the moment,
Yeah,
most of it is ready except the decoding of the brain. Once we're able to decode information.
But currently, for example, it is possible for, I don't know, the prophecies. I mean, already
you put nanobots.
Biotic friend and controlling via your nervous system and controlling that is already possible.
Scientists have made blind people see with nanobots on the eyes.
That's
so
right.
It's like you can, yeah, but it's still it's different to replicate to imitate one function than to replicate and imitate multiple connections that are happening at the same time, and that depend on 170,000 million factors that can alter that reaction. So yeah,
I don't know. That's why I think, at least responding to your question, it doesn't seem to me very likely to make this guy in so much pain. But
yeah, I think that story, the last story, connects with other two stories of previous episodes. Before that, I wanted to say that this guy, the bad guy that we say, that he was responsible for many bad things, he is actually worst, because for those of you who haven't watched the whole series, we have watched from episode 1 until now, so we're like and discussing about it, so we're like really analyzing the series. And this technology was presented in other 2 episodes. This was White Bear, which is one of my favorites too, which is the one where they keep the girl in like a amusement park for torture the murder of a little kid. And everybody visited the park in family just to torture this murder forever because she deserved it. And the other one is White Christmas. In White Christmas, which is like a very popular episode too. In White Christmas, he's locked in this prison, virtual prison, listening to the same song for 1,000 years or something like that, which is pretty much like forever. So this guy did not only started the technology that kept this person tortured for many years, but also the one that was applied on the other girl. And there was this. I think that they're showing us here where they started testing technologies that we've seen in other episodes, more advanced later. So he was responsible for everything in this show. Everything. He's like the real bad guy. Like, and that's why they wanted to make him look like the devil, like disgusting, mean, or scary all together, because he's representing real evil. That's why I think the company is evil, because he was evil. So yeah, thank you, Gus. Camilo, sociologist, you should delight us with your perspective on this matter, which has to do a little bit more with what you do. What do you think? Was it fair? Is it fair? Can it possibly be fair? Will it ever be fair? I don't know.
I think poison is never fair for
Yes,
starters.
you're cheating. Yes,
For me, it's like
we learned that in medieval times. There are enough
yeah,
medieval readings for us to know, and fantastic readings, that poison is the murder of those leaders.
cowards, the
Yeah,
cowards weapon.
cowards and women, and women.
Yeah, but we can say that today.
But
But
we're not cowards.
cowards, cowards weapon.
Yeah. So
But saying that, I think that we have an issue here, or at least in the three stories, we have issues that are currently happening. And if I wanted to highlight something, it's the position in which we put certain people in our societies, where we consider them as more possible to experiment with them. But in this episode, it was this prisoner. It was, I don't know if he was guilty or innocent, but as long as he was in prison, we consider him a, a person, or a second level person, or a second category person, in which we are able to do things to him that we would not do to other people.
yeah,
And that's something pretty important in our societies, in terms of how we treat, for example, migrants, how we treat, for example, uh, people in jail in Chile. I don't know if you remember that question that somebody asked, is that if prisoners, of if people in jail have human rights. It was like in Twitter, or
yes.
I know it was in the news. It was like a debate on news, where they were asking
And yes, if they have human rights or not.
yes, sure. And if we think about second category people, we can put a lot of people there, and that's one
But that's
thing
gonna take.
that
That's gonna depend on the person, on the values. Like for me, whoever I feel like a second class person is going to be different to you or to Jorge. I'm definitely sure that Jorge has a different class
yes,
categorization of people.
yes, sure. But if we think about the hegemony that is going on, especially in Occidental culture or in Occidental societies, we have that the non-white people is the most probable people that we can put in
Yeah,
this
this position.
on this under category,
Yes,
or on under class, in this
yes.
underclass position. And that's something that I think it's currently happening.
And probably
But
that's why they chose a black man, especially to make it
of
more
course,
evident. Like that.
so we feel empathy for him,
Yes.
because sign of the times, we have these Black Lives Matter and things
But this
like
was
that
before
are
all
happening.
that, but like it's nothing new.
No,
Nothing
but
will
if you
will
think
do.
about the
Yeah.
movies that are happening, or were happening from 2010 till now, they are all about, or a lot of
The
them
racial
have this
conflict.
issue, the racial, and showing us on, or making us aware of the racial conflict. That for us it was no big deal, because here in Chile the racial conflict is in other direction, but in the States and in other countries where they had black slaves, they had this awareness,
Yeah.
and it ended up with maybe
The revolts.
the Ferguson killing and things like that, but
Yeah.
it's a history of a long time. But saying that, another thing that it's important, I think, in this compilation episode, it's about how we think about technology as prosthetics, for human lives. I don't think that technology here is far from what we have today, in terms of, if we think about the computer, if we think about all the devices that we have around, they are like prosthetic for us. Someone said that we are like technologies for us to make us gods with prosthetics,
Yes.
and that's it. We are trying to achieve certain things and to enhance certain senses that we have by using technology. And here we have that you can enhance the way in which you perceive things, you know.
Yes.
And I like the first story because it was the story of any addiction in
Yes.
terms of it could be any substance,
Uh-huh.
and he was addicted to pain in this
Yes.
case. And of course everything went wrong, but with the proper, I don't know, the proper conditions, it would be good for us
Yes.
to have doctors that could feel what we feel, you
Yes.
know, in terms of how
At the
we can
beginning, it was a
explain.
success. Everybody wanted
Of
him to do
course,
things. Of course.
of course,
That's
and
the ultimate
uh,
goal of every doctor.
yeah, sure. So for me, it's like that. It's how we enhance certain senses of us, and how we can, through technology, how we can produce certain things, or enhance again certain abilities that we have today. And of course, the ultimate one is to preserve life, you know, in terms of how in a lot of episodes we have this transmission of consciousness to uh, I don't know, to adult,
Or an
to
egg
a
later.
teddy bear, or
And an
into
egg.
someone else, you know. And I don't know. I think this is the main issue for me, at least for seeing Black Mirror, is that technology is not good or bad,
It's
but it
just
has this, in the line is very thin between how we can use it and how we can uh, use it for doing good. And most of technology again have these issues that could be used wrong, you know. And of course I agree with you that the guy here was presented in terms of a very bad guy who only had interest in earning money and to be or the commercial side of it. But if you think about the scientists behind it, and if you think about all the people that must have been
involved.
behind this, involved in this process, of course I don't think they are bad people, you know. They are only maybe enclosed in their labs trying to get solutions to things, you know. And those solutions could be used as we use, for example, a lot of things that were invented
Yeah.
for work, you know. A
Yeah.
lot of technology, internet for example, is the
For the
ultimate
army.
example of a thing that
LSD,
was
for
was
example.
invented. Of course, and
To
a
give
lot
an
of technology
example.
was invented, and the drive, if you think like that, the technology drive is war, you know, to have conflict and to kill other people. The drones, we can use today a drone here in Chile, and but the drones were invented for killing people without having a pilot
Yeah.
on a plane, you know. So again, I don't think
Yeah.
there's a moral
Actually, actually, sorry.
essence in technology. Hmm?
Yeah. Actually, the whole series is about that, about how much technology is a tool, but how much we as imperfect, evil, and sometimes good, and always in between beings, humans, human beings, will always do use it in our purpose, and that will affect the others, and just like basically how life works. So I think that even with the case in the case of the girl, the protagonist or not protagonist, even though I do not agree with the punishment, I don't think that anyone should be tortured, or I don't even believe in death penalty, so I would never killed whatever was guilty of this crime. I think that she's just human. I don't even think she's bad. She's just human expressing normal human emotions like revenge, which is something like maybe we do not agree, but if something happens to someone that is close to us, maybe in that position we will go for revenge too.
Yes, but if you think about the electric chair, for example, it was invented for being a non-cruel
Yeah, to avoid
form
to
of
make it
killing
quicker
people.
and
Of
simpler, like
course, of
without
course, and
suffering.
And if you think about the punishment in the medieval times, and
Yeah, of course.
not that long ago, maybe in the 19th century, we have that the punishment was like whipping someone in the street or things like that, and the punishment has, we can say, advanced into having non-cruel and unusual. That's very American, Jorge. Non-cruel and unusual punishment,
Yes.
and we have today that the most common form of applying death penalty in the United States is the lethal injection.
Yeah. The little
Because
injection is
it doesn't
no
cause,
suffering.
and that's it.
And when you think of castration, for example, it used to be like taking away your genitals with, I don't know, something with a knife. Now it's just an injection too that makes it everything. So yeah, I don't know if any we're like off limits time. I don't know if any of you would like. I wasn't able to ask you guys specifically, but I don't know if any of you would like to share some final reflection before we finish. No. Of course, there are way too many, but it's going to be like 1 extra hour, so don't worry. I will see you next Wednesday on the same place, same time, to discuss the first episode of season 5. And I wanted to give you a homework, maybe if possible. We only have season 5 left, and after that, no more Black Mirror. I was thinking of maybe going back to redo some episodes, especially now that we have new people here. We tried a book before. We read Brave New World. It was great, but not everybody likes reading that much or listening to audiobooks. So if you know of any show or series, something like Black Mirror, all of your ideas are well received, okay? Just think about it. So yeah, I just wanted to thank you all for coming. Had a great time. I hope I can see you next Wednesday, and have a great weekend. Don't forget my birthday is on Friday, so you can send me your gifts and presents. See you all. Take care. Be good, and thank you for coming. Bye. Bye. Take care. Bye.
Good week.
See you.
Bye.